Hello and welcome to Mecon Music TV. This is a channel where I talk about music, mainly hip-hop. And on this video, as stated by the title, I'm doing a mini album review. So in this channel's past, I've had a tendency to make longer, more ramble-style videos, which I enjoy. But I think moving towards more shorter, concise videos will make for better content, to put it simply. Well, the album I'm going over today is The Elephant Man's Bones by Roc Marciano and The Alchemist. It was released back on August 26th of this year, so I am multiple months late, but I had a script, and I am determined to make this video, so here I am. Well, to start, Roc Marciano is more of an underground New York rapper and producer. I found that the term underground, that the underground label can be kind of awkward because Roc Marci has been around for a long while and is respected and backed by a number of legends, but he doesn't put up mainstream numbers. Not that it means anything or speaks to the quality of music, obviously. But regardless, The Alchemist is, of course, a hip-hop producer for anyone who doesn't know. Sometimes a rapper, too. I wish he'd rap more often. The Alchemist is referred to as one of the all-time greatest producers. I agree. I'm a big fan of his. So while this isn't their first collaboration, it is their first full-length project together, with Alchemist producing every single track. And this is my first Roc Marciano project, for the record, so this is from the perspective of a newer listener of his. But it wasn't my first time hearing him due to the fact that I'm a huge Griselda fan and they featured him in multiple projects, so I've been familiar with him for a while. I'm very aware of his low-key, relaxed delivery flows paired with cold, hard-hitting, gritty, lyrical shit, which can be a perfect combination, I found. That's why I'm such a big Griselda fan. And I know I'd like him, as I've heard several people declare him as one of the fathers or originators of the Griselda sound. So given that and being familiar with The Alchemist on production, I didn't necessarily go in blind. So the album kicks off with a rubber hand grip, which is honestly pretty chilling with the chimes. And Roc Marci is effortless. The entire track is chilling from the production to the lyricism, despite comedic lines like 300 rounds, pop your hood, look like you were shot by an octopus, and just me and my Uzi, we looking like a couple spooning. Funny shit. This sets the tone for the album properly as it goes into Daddy Kane featuring Action Bronson, which is my personal favorite album track. It has a more upbeat production compared to the rest of the tracks, with kicks and synths, and there's this one synth that fades away and re-enters at several points during the track that seals it as my favorite track. That and Action Bronson's verse, whose presence on the feature always makes it an enjoyable song, as if Marci didn't already kill it. But Bronson stole the show a little bit. His last line is easily the best, the song's best, being, "Nowadays, your boy looking like a motherfucking stegosaurus." Just classic Action Bronson. Now I'll leap over to Quantum Leap, which is the most popular track on the album stream-wise, and I get why. The keys combined with his lyricism full of wit and straight shit-talking gives it a lot more replayability, which is a very common theme on the entire album, clearly a part of his artistry. The transition from Quantum Leap into the title track is fucking flawless. The title track is another highlight. While being my second favorite, it easily has the best beat on the project. The soulful sample and beautiful jazz-headed pianos makes me transcend. I fucking love pianos on any kind of hip-hop beat, for the record. It's always a massive plus for me. I enjoyed his subject matter more so on other songs too, as he gets a little personal, which at least on this project he doesn't seem to do very often, which is a small gripe of mine, but not a big deal. The first couple lines really stood out to me. "This is food for the spirit. The music is endearing. I'm sharing a human experience." Which shit, not lying. Whole song's beautiful. The project's great so far. The production is low-key. I don't want to say stripped because it's The Alchemist and his beats are intricate and layered, but the little to no drums is a shift from most hip-hop beats you would hear. At least the more mainstream sound. That, with Marciano ice skating over this beat, he kind of reminds me of Boldy James in terms of delivery. He's quiet, relaxed, which makes him sound confident as fuck because of his lyrical content. I like when he throws in lyrical miracle-esque lines like in Trillion Cup with Boldy James, speaking of. Quote, "Me and G on Stockwell, filthy as Rockwell, turn an eye on high fresh out of dry spell. Turn an eye on high fresh out of dry spell." I hope I said that right. "Bop it twice, then drop it in a pot like some oxtail." There are better examples of what I mean by that, but that kind of style, if it's done right, similar to how Wayne does it, I really like. There's still bars, if that makes, there's still bars that make sense. Lyrical miracle isn't always bad, okay? And Boldy kills it, for the record. He always does. Moving on from that, there's the Horns of Abraxas. This makes up my top 3 album tracks, accompanied by Daddy Kane and the title track. It has a cold open and outro from Ice-T about doing a favor for a friend. It would have been cool to see a verse from Ice-T, but, you know, Marcy does this thing, and Ice-T's presence alone still makes it a standout with his cop voice that he does. I like the last 5 handful of tracks, but they don't stand out nearly as much to me. Not a big critique, as tracks like JJ Flash are lyrical murder, and Zig Zag Zig is one of the best produced tracks. Knowledge of Pirate has a nice verse on that. Marcy doesn't bring lackluster verses or performances by any means. He just stays in his comfort zone and his lane, which I get. It makes for good songs. Just some of them could be a little more. Perhaps he's known for staying in his lane, but I would have liked to see different flow attempts, but him sticking to his style makes for a concise, consistent album, which I do appreciate. Well, shit. That's the album, besides the final track being Think Big, that has another lyrical miracle part that I like. Quote, "The brick that I've been squeezing is seasoned. These are lyrics to sink your teeth in. The ink's leaking." I don't know why I like that. It also features a small Biggie sample in the outro, which is pretty cool. So, I clearly enjoyed the album a lot. I've listened to it many times already, partly because of how seamless and easy of a listen it is. The album has great transitions all the way through. Don't know if I mentioned. Like, I'll put it on while doing like a task or a chore and shit. Like, I'm like done with the album in what seems like 15 minutes. And the cool thing about it is that if you want to go the opposite route and dissect the album like bar for bar, you can, because of how layered Roc Marciano's lyricism is. I can definitely see and identify how his music could have inspired Griselda, from like the flexing to creative coke and drug bars and to production. To elaborate on critiques a little more, I don't have many with the music itself, but more so with how safe Roc Marciano plays it, which is a bit of a critique, right? But besides that, I would have liked to see a little more variety in terms of lyrical content. Those are my small gripes. Just a small lack of what could have been there rather than what is there, but maybe that's unfair. This album is great, though. Worthy of the praise it's getting, for sure. Marty can fucking rap, obviously, and he does his thing. Alchemist never disappoints with his production. The album artwork is fucking awesome, also, by the way. I've seen a good number of people label it their album of the year, and that's fair, but I'm not there yet. I haven't really thought about what my album of the year is yet, which is kind of weird, but, you know, I like to wait until December, until I make sure everything is really out. But I am really liking the new Freddie Gibbs album, all the new Griselda releases this year, Jid, Denzel Curry, so been a lot of great shit. Kendrick, Pusha T. As for a rating on the album, I give it an 8 out of 10. That's subject to change, I suppose, but as I keep listening to it, but it'll probably stick around there. And I'm most definitely adding more of his albums to my to listen to list. I'm excited to see what else he has in his discography. So I've enjoyed doing this review. I hope it made sense and I did a thorough enough job. I'll get better with time regardless. We out here. Roc Marciano, The Alchemist, The Elephant Man's Bones, Mekon Music, 2022.